Hi, this is me again. I see I'm just a little slow getting in here, but I want to go through chapter 5 here. We're going to talk about developing how to develop a full costing income statement, compare that with a variable costing income statement, and we're going to start by taking both units are going to produce 5,000 units and they're going to sell 5,000 units. And the selling price is $2,000. Variable production cost you can see is $900. Fixed manufacturing overhead is $1,200,000. So now the total manufacturing cost is 5,000 units multiplied by the variable production cost of $900 plus $1,200,000 of fixed. So that gives you $5,700,000 of total manufacturing cost. And that, when you divide that number by the 5,000 produced, you get a unit manufacturing cost of $1,140. Now, when we do a full costing income statement, we are going to multiply 5,000 units sold times $2,000 gives you $10 million of sales. And from that, we're going to subtract the cost of goods sold, which is 5,000 units, multiplied by that $1,140 per unit and get a $5,700,000. So we get a gross margin of $4,300,000. Our selling expenses are a little bit. They got selling expenses is and I come over here to the variable cost to get the composition of the costs that go into that. We have 5,000 units, and we're going to multiply that was sold, and we multiply that by the variable selling expense of $40 a unit plus the fixed cost of $100,000 to get the $300,000 of selling expenses. Then we have an administrative cost of $500,000. Let's see where I got that. No, I didn't. I just plunked that in. So anyway, the net income is $3,500,000. Now let's see how we handle it with the variable costing. We get the same sales. We get the same 5,000 times $2,000 to get the sales of $10 million. But now the variable cost of goods sold takes this 5,000 units that were sold and multiplies that by $900, and we get $4.5 million of variable cost of goods sold. And from that, we also deduct the variable selling cost, which is 5,000 units multiplied by that $40, gives us $200,000. So the contribution margin, as you can see, is that $10 million minus the $4.5 million variable cost of goods sold minus the $200,000 of variable selling cost to come up with a contribution margin of $5.3 million. And from that, we deduct the $1,200,000 of fixed overhead, fixed manufacturing overhead, And from that, we're going to deduct the fixed portion of the selling expenses. Over here, the selling expense is $300,000. Here, we say of that $300,000, $200,000 is variable, so that goes up above the. It goes up in this portion of the and becomes part of developing the contribution margin. I'm sorry, I stumbled over that. Then from that, we deduct the fixed administrative costs of $500,000. So we arrive at $3.5 million net income, the same as we do over here. So while things are done differently, nevertheless, we come up with basically the same bottom line. Now, let's have a situation where we're going to produce 6,000 units and sell 4,800. So we're going to produce more. We're going to have 1,200 of this production go into ending inventory, and we'll see how that gets handled here. We have the same selling price, same variable production cost, same fixed manufacturing overhead, but now the total manufacturing cost is higher because we got 6,000 units multiplied by $900 variable production cost plus this $1.2 million of fixed. So that comes up to $6.6 million, and then we divide that by 6,000 units, and the product of that division is $1,100 per unit. So now coming up with the full costing income statement, we multiply our sales by $4,800, or 4,800 units multiplied by $2,000 gives us $99.6 million in sales. Our cost of goods sold is the variable cost is, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm over here full costing. We're going to take $1,100 of unit manufacturing cost and multiply it by 4,800 units. Gives us $5,280,000 of cost of goods sold. So our gross margin is $4,320,000. Now from that, we are going to subtract our selling expense. And the selling expense, as we did before, we got 4,800 is the units of selling, and we're going to multiply that by $40 to catch the variable selling expense and add $100,000 of fixed to it to come up with $292,000 of selling expense. And then we also, from that, we subtract the fixed administrative expenses to get $3,528,000 of net income. Now we have an ending inventory of 1,200 units, and the ending inventory we got the 1,200 units, and you multiply that by $1,100, and we come up with $1,320,000 of ending inventory. So, and our ending inventory includes $1,100 of manufacturing costs and the variable cost of $900. So yeah, part of that $1,100 is the unit manufacturing cost. The variable part of that is $900. So the fixed part that's in there is $200, and you multiply that times the 1,200 units in there. Shows we got our ending inventory has 1,320,000, and 240,000 is this fixed part of that manufacturing cost. We'll come back to that in just a minute, because we're going to see how that changes things for us. So if we look over here at the variable costing, we've got the same 6,000, same 4,800 we sell. All the other things are here the same. So we sell 9.6 million of sales, 4,800 times 2,000. Our variable costs are 4,800 multiplied by 900 variable costs, and our variable selling expense, let's go one more and take a look at that, is 4,800 multiplied by the $40. So that's $192, $192,000 I mean. So the contribution margin is $5,088,000. Then from that we deduct our fixed manufacturing overhead of $1.2 million, and our fixed selling expenses, because we have the variable portion up here. So the fixed is here and the fixed administrative is here. So we get $3,288,000, which is $240,000 less than what we do under $3.5 million. Now the ending inventory here is $1,320,000. The ending inventory here, let's just run it. So we get the difference. We get 1,200 of the difference, and we multiply that by $900, and that's our ending inventory, which is $240,000 less. So what's happening here, and it happens with this fixed cost portion of the manufacturing costs that end up in ending inventory, is this $1,320,000 in ending inventory is $240,000 higher than the ending inventory is in the variable costing. So as a result of that, our bottom line net income for full costing, when we manufacture more than we sell, is higher than it is under variable costing. Variable costing is more accurate. Here, a manufacturing manager can play with this. They can produce more than they sell, and they'll end with more in ending inventory, so they make the bottom line look better. Well, I hope I haven't butchered this too much for you, and you may want to think about it some more, but that's the situation with this. It's kind of an interesting